All right. Tis the Too Much Dip podcast. My name is Dave. We got to just jump right into it. I'm going to host, and I'm going to introduce producer Randall Trimbacky.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Randy. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I got no sports I'm watching right now, but I'm excited to be here.
Helpful to the show. That's okay.
That's why I'm just here to produce.
That's why. No, you'll have something you'll contribute. You get White Sox. They looked okay over the weekend. I don't know.
Hell if I know.
Good. Coming to us live from Madison. KJ.
Thrilled, happy to be back. Maybe 2-week suspension. I have no idea, but it feels like it's been a long time. Good to see you, fellas.
Always a pleasure. And then joining me in studio, Dylan Shivery.
It's about the time of year I start really watching some puck, you know.
Sounded like it this morning when you were talking to Brett about it.
Well, we got the Golden Knights on tomorrow, game 1 of that series against the Oilmen. We'll be watching. Pretty excited. I love playoff hockey, David.
Yeah, you do. You've been glued into it thus far.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited.
More on that later. The excitement is palpable. I think I speak for everybody. But for other reasons. Because on the phone line now, it's none other than former host himself, Micah Weiner, a Lease Point professional. Lease Point.
Lease Point.
Hi, Micah.
Hello, David. Hello, Randall. Hello, KJ and Dylan as well.
Hey,
Great
Micah.
to hear you guys.
Miss you.
I miss you too. I'd like to introduce a new segment to the program.
Okay.
It's called Micah is Burning.
Ooh, I think this has legs. I
Shout
don't
to,
know why he's calling. For the record, none of us do. We just got
This
a
is
text this
surprise.
I don't
morning.
know.
Yeah, shouts to the old Jim Rome program on ESPN. Micah is Burning. Before we get to it, I want to just wish you guys a happy podcast week and a happy YouTube week. I know that's huge for the squad. And Dave, let me be my first to offer my condolences.
Thank you.
I have a new child, which is great. She's doing extremely well, which means I'm up at 3 a.m. feeding her, which is fun, which also means I've been watching a lot of hoops and a lot of Inside the NBA, and it's just so great. I love it so much. Just want to share that with you guys. Also been watching a little puck here and there, which, exciting. Tough day for those in St. Louis today, but pretty good for everybody else. But that's not really why I'm calling.
Well, allow us to be the first to congratulate you. We're very happy for you. We're all in some way. We all feel like uncles in here.
Mm-hmm. And Micah,
Yeah.
let me be the first to wish you a happy Cinco de Mayo. I hope you have some guacamole today.
There we go.
Oh, I
There
sure
it
hope
is.
so. Happy Feliz Cinco de Mayo. Love celebrating a victory over the French. But that's not what I'm burning on. What I'm burning on is actually the NFL draft. I know this is now relatively old news. I tried to call in last week, but I was sleeping during your program, and I apologize for that.
That's okay. Exigent circumstances. You're good.
One of the unfortunate things about being at home is, I watched some of the debate shows, namely First Take. And God help the people that, most of the unemployed dads out there that are watching that show. It just makes you so stupid. And I watched a segment last week where Stephen A. Smith threatened to basically kick a kid's ass. That kid was the son of the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator, I believe, who made the prank call to Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
Falcons.
Jackson.
And
Jax.
yes, Jack, our boy Jack. I've got a couple bones to pick with Jax and also people in general. And that 10-minute segment in which Stephen A. and then like the other 3 guests they had, like basically just absolutely demolished this child. Well, I guess Jax is a 21-year-old man, so we shouldn't call him a child. I have a bone to pick. Jax, be funnier. I love prank calls. Prank calls are great, man. And, of course, the news has come out that there were 7 or 8 NFL prospects that were prank called over the course of the draft. And, there's issues about, security and having private information. Of course, I would imagine Shador might have had some of that relieved if he had an agent and not just a cell phone number. As I imagine some of those conversations go through agents first. But that's, neither here nor there, really.
Yeah, Micah, I was curious, like, who was running security? Was it Mike Waltz or something?
That's good. That's good. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't just send out people's, email addresses on a non-secured Google Doc or however this works. But, there are some security questions that should be raised. But my bigger issue with Jax is this was not a funny prank call. There was nothing good about it. And then to have the audacity to post that prank call in which you don't really do anything. You just convince a kid that he's going to get drafted. It just sucked. It wasn't a good prank call. And I'm mad about this. You could have ended the prank call with Baba Booey or with my personal favorite, Poodle Girl on. Are you guys following? Are you guys following Put a Girl On?
Oh, yeah.
We are now.
I was unfamiliar until these guys filled me in on Put a Girl On. But
oh man, I
girl
love. I know. Some people seem down on the our current climate of comedy, but between Mulaney and Chappelle and whoever your top tier comedians are, I think there's some good Bargazzi, whatever. There's some good content out there, but no one in America is funnier than Mr. Put a Girl On. And I highly recommend you put a girl on and check him out on Instagram. I'm sure he's on TikTok too, but I'm not a part of that.
He's doing numbers.
He's doing numbers, and rightfully so. I love Put a Girl On, and it's just really tremendous content. And so that's my disappointment with Jack is like, what? At least like call and say, hi, this is Cheryl Subdivision, and I'm calling because I don't understand why your chicken. What does it mean when you say it's finger licking good? And then they go, well, it means that it's good chicken. Oh, okay. Could you do me a favor and put a girl on?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really it's good. So I wanted to share that with you guys if you're not already all over Mr. Put a Girl On. Also, I have another question, and maybe Randy can help us here.
Sure.
This is really a question for people like under the age of 30.
I'm here.
What do we have to live stream everything? Like, why is Shador Sanders live streaming?
It's content
every minute.
You've been out of the content game too long.
Yeah,
it's content. Yes, we do. Because you never know. You want to get that live opportunity when someone actually does put a girl on. You want to see that live.
You can't miss that. It's just not the same if you go back and watch it.
I just I understand why Mr. Put a Girl On is videotaping his calls, but why is Shador Sanders on Twitch? Why is that happening? Why are we on this 24 hours a day?
For the brand.
We're out of touch, Micah. We're out of touch. That's the simple answer here.
Hey, chat, are we out of touch out there?
Yeah, the chat. Is this real?
Tell us in the chat if we're out of touch.
I just don't. I want someone to explain this to me, other than it's for the content. Are people really tuning in to Shador's, Twitch and being entertained by it, or is he providing value to people? I just don't know.
Sadly, for the wrong reasons. I think as the day progressed, more people tuned in just to kind of see a kid be sad. And that's kind of messed up. But I will say this about prank calls, because we did ask the question, are prank calls back? The problem is, back in the day when we were doing prank calls, it's for the love of the game. You weren't recording them because you know what? Once you start recording it for clout, you're running potentially afoul of wiretap laws. What are you gonna? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't
The
record.
first thing every 10-year-old was concerned with was single consent party state. Or whatever,
Exactly
single
right,
party consent
KJ.
state.
You get it.
Imagine if Shadura got a call from Detective John Kimball.
I'm Detective John Kimball.
Who
Who's
is
a
my
daddy
dog?
and
Well-
what does he do? That would work perfect for Shador, actually. He's actually Deion Sanders. Funny you ask.
Yeah, our friend Mr. Pudogrolan recently posted himself in a cop car because in one of his prank calls to a local KFC or GameStop or whatever, he identified himself as like, this is Lieutenant Larry Landmine. And I was calling, I know you guys have gotten a lot of prank calls recently. And so apparently he's been popped for impersonating a law enforcement officer. So like
Yeah.
that's not something you do.
Big no. My personal favorite is when he was calling I believe it was in LA Fitness, and I think he called in as Donnie Deadlift. Was the name he chose, which did, to anybody paying attention, there's no way that's a real name. Donnie
No.
Deadlift. I mean, maybe it's like some kind of old Russian last name. It just doesn't sound like it.
No, it doesn't sound good. So I mean, I just wish Jax would have said, instead of saying, "Hi, this is General Manager Mickey Loomis of the New Orleans Saints. We're excited to pick you." He would have, said, "Okay, well, great, yeah," and and Shador said, "Well, I've been waiting." And it would have been great if he would have said, "Well, I've been waiting for you to put a girl on."
I think the best.
That would have been funny.
The biggest missed opportunity there was waiting until the Cowboys were on the clock and doing a fake Jerry. Because there's no owner more fun to impersonate than Jerry Jones. Everyone
Sure.
has.
I've never heard Mark Davis's voice though.
That's a great point. I don't know what he sounds like.
You can also say just about anything in Jerry's voice and it's believable.
Yeah.
Hey, Shador, I just finished a third bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, and I've talked the team into selecting you for how's it feel to put a star on your helmet and be a Dallas Cowboy.
You know I do. I really do love your daddy. Yeah, that would have been oh God, we missed out on an all
I remember
time.
bouncing you on my knee back in Irving.
You won't
Las
remember this,
Colinas.
but we sure do, and we did. No, that would have been an all timer. I thought the real draft take you're going to have is how excited you were that the draft is finally going to do the mall in DC.
It's exciting news for the people in the District of Columbia. I just, and
Timing is
realistically,
gonna
like
be
that's a
interesting.
big upgrade over a parking lot in Green Bay.
Okay,
but why would
tap the brakes.
why would anybody want to go to the draft? I don't understand this. Maybe this is a question for Randy.
Crisis actors.
Oh, because there might be an opportunity that like they're going to announce that someone's going to get drafted, and like the person that announces is a girl, and they actually do put a girl on the stage. Micah, did you ever think about that?
Great point.
Yeah.
Good point from Randy.
Randy, you can't just say put a girl on. You have to say it in the voice.
What voice is that, Micah?
Put a girl on.
Wow, he's got it down. I love that Micah, like unknown to any of us, was super deep in this thing.
Oh,
Like,
if
you know, this
I've
is
liked-
a late night feeding. He's like doing the rocker. He's got his earbud in or his AirPod in, and he's just
I'm
sitting there
just watching
rocking baby
dozens
number 2,
and liking
just
every
fully
post from
content
the
maxing.
Put a girl on.
Oh
Oh my God.
man, are they gonna just register? Like, man, now I'm like really thinking about the logistics and the potential thought process on doing a draft in the National Mall in 2027, and just the ramifications of it's gonna. You think there will be any commentary about what kind of rally this looks like or anything? I don't know.
I don't know. I can only imagine how many Bud Light tall boys will be left behind in the National Mall.
Man, the only mall I care about is Barton Creek,
Yeah,
where I
was
can go to
gonna
the
say, is there a
Twisted Cork.
kiosk bar in this mall?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You could go Hitman Outfitters on your way out.
Randy, you want to hit the Twisted Cork with us soon? The kiosk bar inside Barton Creek Mall.
Yeah, totally. Not really.
They need to make it a
I
pedal
don't want
bar.
to go to a
That was the
kiosk
only thing
bar,
that could
but-
elevate it. It's just making a pedal bar in the mall.
Ooh, I don't hate that.
Ooh, like a little Soul Cycle.
That has feet.
It's good.
Well, Micah, we're going to give you the final word. We unless you want to just hang out. If you got something else you want to kick around.
No,
Any
I'm not
honest
burning
draft
on
takes? Any Cowboy draft selection opinions? I know we got some from the group last week, but any other thoughts on any of the picks?
No, not really. I'm not burning on it. I mean, it seems that the Cowboys reached for the first round pick, but the guy gave a great press conference, so everybody seems all in, and so that's good. And Micah Parsons. Why is Micah Parsons live streaming all the time? Well, does anyone really care? I don't understand this culture, man. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old.
You've
But there is
changed.
So
just one,
far removed from the Mizzou journalism school.
God, the power plant's just no longer in service.
Yeah,
dude. They're
the power
shutting it
plant
down.
would not agree with your take right now, I don't think.
I mean, as someone who was a former, very small internet celebrity, I understand the appeal. But I don't get it, man. I don't understand why you trade millions of dollars for internet clout. But that's just me. I don't get it.
At that level, that is still millions of
just wish
dollars, I would imagine.
Yeah, I wish Jax would have said Shador, we're glad to have you here as part of the Saints. You really impressed us with the way that during your interview you came in wearing an $80,000 watch and said that you're good on doing anything that we ask you to do. So at least be funny with it, man. And if you guys could just do one more thing for me, put a girl on.
Oh,
Put a girl on. Put a girl on.
there we
Love
go.
it, Micah.
Okay,
Okay.
Hey,
He's
thanks,
broken.
Micah.
Michael Weiner. Unreal.
Did he dismount on a?
I didn't know if I was
okay.
supposed to wait. He was repeating it. I thought it was just a good time to just punch out on
I
him.
think so.
You know what? If
Need a
you're out there,
fanfare
a
button.
fan, give us a 5-star review on Too Much Dip and give us a number count of how many times Micah said "put a girl on." It was it had been in the 30s.
He said 5. He said it 5 times in the last 5 seconds. So.
Yeah.
It might be. I was approaching starting to tick market. I did not get my paper going in time, but I would charge over 35 to 40.
I really wanted to push back on the reach for Tyler Booker. I had not heard that criticism yet, but that's okay. I'm not gonna jump off sides.
I think the main criticism isn't with drafting Tyler Booker; it's with drafting a guard.
Yeah, I mean,
in his first round.
You just retired your Hall of Fame guard.
No, it's an important position, but is it a first round value position? I don't know.
They said the same thing about Zach Martin when they drafted him, to be fair, and about Travis Frederick. They're like interior linemen at this pick.
Fun fact.
That's where you get them. And they hit them both, obviously.
Almost drafted Manziel over Zach Martin.
I know.
Well, fun fact.
My 2 quick draft takes. One was disappointed here. Nobody acknowledged Travis Hunter to the Jags. I'm absolutely whelmed by the selection. Looking forward to another year of Jags fandom in which my expectations are set between 5 wins and 11 wins. And I don't know how we'll get there. We'll see when we get there. But I think he'll be exciting to see.
You basically got 2 players with 1 draft pick.
Theoretically. And then you get 2 players on the IR with 1 draft pick
Okay.
at some point in time.
Counterpoint.
But no, I love him as a person, as a person you're putting on your team, skill set, all of that. I know Dylan, you go back and look at the newsletter. What's the Friday article? I don't want to mistitle it.
Watched Weekly.
Wash Weekly. Dylan recently wrote about the famed Savannah Bananas. Travis Hunter also had a little guest appearance with them of late. And I just think it's cool that he is also a Stream 24/7 guy, but seemingly is all around good dude and supremely talented. So happy about that.
Yeah, he does seem to be.
And then Tyler Booker. I will only say this, but you might have drafted a person that talks more than Micah. Not Micah Weiner, of course. Micah Parsons. Maybe somebody who has potential to be on the mic, doing things, giving more interviews, saying more things he thinks sound super tight, more than Micah Parsons. Nothing that I disagree with. I love his energy. I like the tough talk. He's got the pedigree. He's got the background to prove it. He's got the tape to prove it. I just don't know how many linemen that you see who show up and they're talking like a wide receiver or DB normally would in terms of what they're going to do to dominate. I'm like, all right, man. You're in a position that can get regularly exposed at any point in time. Like, let's just take it easy.
God, man, people are reaching for criticisms. Reaching.
I like the guy. How many interviews have you seen with him that have been anything short of, I like to ruin people's life and make them hate football, and I'm capable of doing that.
I mean, I'm
And
not going
gonna
to
do it
knock
in
the guy
NFL.
because he has a good personality.
I don't think it's a good personality. I think
Okay.
it's playing to the moment, which I appreciate and I respect. But I do think it is on, again, Micah Parsons' weekly podcast watch.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know how much juice a guard is going to have on a pod. Like how much, whereas Micah Parsons is like, you're going to hear his name, 20 times a game. You often don't hear from the guard very often, unless you got like, it depends on who's calling the
Pouncey
game.
Brothers
Like,
or whatever.
Exactly. Where like, they're just going, you always get the one crazy color commentator's like, okay, watch the guard, which I actually do enjoy because it's not a position I typically watch. But no, you're right. The kids just by every account, like nailed every interview, and you might see that, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe him and Michael just team up and do one together.
It may be that he did like the clips I've seen were like the Micah reaction clips. Maybe that's what caught me off guard. And I have no hatred or no dislike of Micah Parsons. I'll make that very clear. But I think anybody who even likes the Cowboys, follows Cowboys, like would acknowledge you just got to be comfortable with hearing Micah quite often, which is okay. It does not affect production. That does not bother me. But you gotta know you're getting the high volume of them.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't love all of the Micah Parsons exposure. It's just awkward because then you saw this during the draft when like when they drafted Tyler Booker and they have a camera in his face and he wasn't jumping out of his chair going crazy. It was more like okay, like he was probably expecting a skill player or probably a wide receiver, to be honest. I think most people were. But anyway, no,
Okay.
I hate that because then you can clip that one moment and
Yeah.
not like 2 seconds later when it's like him like gassing up like the pick and like, oh yeah, this guy's a dog. And it's just annoying and it's just part of the real fun misery of being a Cowboy
Yeah,
fan.
he's got to have some maybe some better awareness in that situation because everyone's going to see it.
Yeah. Where do we start?
Do you have any honest thoughts about DC getting the draft in what would be final year of current presidential term? So leading into election that fall.
I saw last night that there was going to be a big announcement, and there was some speculation it was either going to be this or like a NIL thing because he is like potentially like behind the scenes looking at some potential
Say
executive
Tuberville.
executive orders on NIL, which like
Guardrails for NIL.
yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to see whose ox gets gored there. But no, I don't have any takes. I'm thinking like, okay, I really was trying to like think through like what's the angle here, like voter registration, go get you. I don't know, like what is this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm didn't get a chance to comment on like the Green Bay aspect of it. I work with several people who went up there for it. I'm not the type that would, but I get the appeal of going because it's just a pure festival thing. It's a bunch of food. They've got music in between picks, a bunch of merch. It's just it's just a place to be. To go to a place like that where it's kind of one way in, one way out for the most part, it's a lot of logistical headache to get back and forth from Green Bay. I don't know if I'm up for it, but I get why people did.
I don't get the appeal of going to the draft at all. Maybe if someone was like, hey, just for like day one, go first round, maybe I could swing that. I pee a lot.
None of the shots you saw looked like it was logistically easy to get to any facilities.
No, I mean, I had to pee in a bottle at a Drake concert at ACL.
The experience
like 8
live
years ago
isn't that different from the experience just watching it on TV, I would think,
Yeah, although it would be fun to have a chance at being the next draft reaction meme. Guy at me screenshotting you.
When that camera is in your face and they're calling your team's pick, a lot of pressure on at least faking, like pretending like you know who the guy is.
Yeah.
when it's a right tackle out of like Boise State
Oh yeah,
in
it's
the third round, and the guy's like,
Paula Takaum,
Yeah,
left
yeah,
tackle,
yeah.
Boise State in the
it's like
fifth
you have
round.
no idea who this guy is. Don't pretend that you do.
No, this guy was good, dude. He graded out really well.
Yeah,
He graded out really well in the Mountain West Championship game.
those reactions are fun for me. When you get out of the first round,
I'm-
and it's like I don't know who the fuck these guys are.
I'd have to be the nerd in the crowd with like an earpiece and just listen to the radio announce it, because I assume you'll pick something up sooner than when it's announced. I don't know how that goes, but I know in past years you would see like Schefter would tweet out sources, next pick. And I think they've stopped doing some of that, but I feel like whatever's live and what you see on air, like don't always sync up. So I definitely would want to be like in the crowd with like, oh, wait, they're thinking it's going to be this guy or this guy, this guy or this guy, and like just ruining the parade for everybody. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't go, but whatever. I'm glad they mixed it up. I don't, whatever. Not like it hurt my feelings that it was in Green Bay or in Detroit last year. It's going to be in Pittsburgh next year and then DC. Who cares?
All the stars will be out.
Fetterman's going to announce the first pick in Pittsburgh.
Oh, Trump's definitely going to read the first pick, right? He'll definitely be a part of the. Has to.
1 trillion %. Because this is like April.
Will Arch
Low
be gone by
stakes,
then?
you know what I mean? Like that is absolutely going to happen.
Is Arch going to be gone by then?
By when?
2027?
Yeah, he'll be in the. Well, no, that'll be his draft.
That'll be his year.
That'll be his draft.
Oh man, how he
Dude.
would love it. There's no doubt that the Mannings are close with the Trumps.
The
I
Orange
can't
Man.
prove it, but they are.
Orange Man's going to call the Arch pick.
That-
Arch Manning,
My mocks already have
New
him
York
going
Giants.
to Cleveland.
University of Texas.
They got to get another quarterback for that room.
It's
You
a
got to
great
get Arch
school.
in there. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, I just opened up my put my phone away. Just opening up my wallet, my e-wallet. Never mind. Not a big deal.
Oh,
Hey, Saturday night was really fun. I don't know if you guys got to watch any Game 7. We have back-to-back, like, phenomenal Game 7s. You know, a guy, anytime you can glance over at the guy next to you at the urinal and just say, playoff hockey, man. Game 7, there's nothing like it. You're right. There's nothing like it. That was sick. That was some of the best. That might be the best back-to-back we've had in years in the playoffs.
I was watching during lunch. I had the McAfee show on. Don't judge me. And the statistic they put up on the screen was that in the previous, I don't know how many seasons, but like playoff hockey, 3 times this has happened before 2 nights ago, that in a Game 7 of a playoff series, a team came down or came back from down 2 to win 3 times total. And it happened twice in the last 2 nights.
Yeah. Insane. And I'll be completely honest with you. Last night I stepped out to go say night to my oldest boy, and I missed the last goal. I did. I missed. Well, no, I should say I missed the tying goal, which happened with like 1 second left, which is insane. But anyway, Saturday night I was dialed. Our group text, KJ was mainly me and Landry, but KJ, you were in there too. Jake MIA, but that's not weird for him. You know, he'll probably respond in a few days. You know, it was one of the most fun playoff games I've had fun watching, like outside of the Luka era, which there's so many. Like Luka, Timberwolves, God, that was just last year. Jesus. Oh God.
Clippers, bubble.
That was so fun. That was so fun. And the fact that you got to see Mikko Rantanen do it against his own team, like an insane performance. Like that story was not one I was familiar with until he came to the Stars. Like I knew he wanted out of Carolina, but like the dispute with Colorado, them moving him on, and then him ending up in Dallas being like one of a few teams he would play for and sign with. And it's insane to see a trade work out like that. Like that obviously like work out like, oh yeah, this worked. This is already a win. Like, yeah, you gave up Stank. Love Stankoven, but like this guy just won you the game himself. He just won you a Game 7 himself. That's insane.
It was, I think I shared with you Like, I've got to fully admit that I was completely in dad mode, basically up until 13 minutes left in the third period on Saturday.
It's a good time to hop in, though.
Let the dog out, came right back in. I felt so disingenuous to be walking in, seeing it on my TV, and they were down 2-0 at that moment. And so, vibes aren't very strong. I was probably running through my head like, okay, what can I turn on? Because I'm not going to watch this like slow death. And within moments, he gets the first, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll settle in. And I think I've, threw out the text about hockey or something, literally the most disingenuous, like I'm locked in type situation. And then you see another, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is exciting. And I think we've all said it before, like hockey playoffs, like slow build, but just constant adrenaline of like this shit could get very uncomfortable. It's like only matched maybe by like UFC, where you're comfortable in some of the pace of the game, but you also know like within a couple seconds, shit gets really, really tense and everybody realizes it. And it's pretty cool to kind of ride that wave.
Typically when there's a run in the NBA, there's a timeout,
Mm-hmm.
and NBA has a ton of commercials. Like it's not like the NHL at all, where like, oh, they can sustain this run and like there's really nothing you can do. And you can see when the guys are tired out there on the ice. And when I don't know where you stand on momentum, but you could see like, oh no, like this has changed. Something has changed. It might just be the one team is playing better than the other and not some invisible force, invisible hand. But yeah, it
Baseball, you get like a pitcher change, mound visit. Like it would have to be like a multi-run, like error type situation to where it goes from like no fucking anxiety or no excitement. Because football, you see it coming for the most part. It's either super tight or you see it occurring. And baseball would have to be like whatever, this game's over, and somebody fucking drops a routine throw out to first, and all of a sudden it's down 1 when they were down 5, like something stupid.
Yeah, and Colorado is just an unbelievably formidable opponent. McKinnon's like that dude. I think to like the casual fan, like you can pick out like, oh, that guy is so much better than everybody else. When he has the puck, like you have to stop what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like it's so impressive, man. And I don't know where the dispute was with like them getting rid of with Miko. But man, that's a fucking nasty team when fully formed, and lucky to beat them. So, got the Jets coming up. Game 1 Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
In Winnipeg, 2 up there. Not like I really have some strong opinion on the Blues in general, but it's certainly one of those teams where, like, historically, the Stars and the Blues in the playoffs is not a fun experience. Going against Jordan Bennington in the playoffs is not a fun experience.
Didn't really want to see
Jim
him.
Montgomery was not going to be a fun experience. Like, that was just going to make me sad all around. Even if they won the series, it just wasn't going to be a fun one to watch. The vibe that they showed outside of Winnipeg's arena reminded me a lot of Oklahoma City. And I'm excited. That's a good scene. It is Canada. You've got to hear a real ass whip of an whatever you call it, anthem every game. But the vibes were strong for their Game 7 last night.
Let's play a game. Let's play Where's Winnipeg? Dylan, I'll start with you. Where is Winnipeg? What part of Canada? What U.S. states? What United States is it closest to?
The northern ones.
It is closest to Michigan.
KJ.
I mean,
You should
North
know.
Dakota. Yes, I'm fairly familiar because at times I've had to say, well, you could get to Winnipeg in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it is south. I will say south. No, it is central Canada, right? Like the central portion, like close to North Dakota, probably like 6 or 7 hours from North Dakota, Minnesota. I honestly had to, and I'm obviously I had to look that up because I'm not too familiar with it.
It is, what is it? Regina's like straight west of there, which of course, like you hear the word Regina, it stands out. But if any of you fellers were degenerates like I was in college and watched a show called Art Man Presents, where I would just go around to like the big parties and festivals around the country and around North America, they had like their huge country showdown or whatever in Regina. It's like a big oil town. And it was just nothing but Canadian butts. And I was like, you know what? Maybe one day in the future, I'll just find myself in Regina for whatever the hell it was called. I'm like, yeah,
Still waiting.
back. I was not gonna get any passport stamps to head to Regina.
So wait, it was like Canadian Girls Gone Wild?
Not Girls Gone Wild. No, none of the nudity. But it was definitely like man on the street. Just go ask drunk people questions.
Haktua.
Are you sure you're saying the name of this
Pretty much.
town correctly?
1,000%.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong,
Oh yeah, spit on that thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
you think she could have a comeback in Canada? That's a good idea.
She's still doing it. I don't know what's going on.
Is she?
Yeah, she's
She
back.
came out from hiding, but I haven't seen much of her since she did that.
But he got rugged.
I support her.
Oh yeah, the rug pull.
yeah,
Yeah,
rugged. He got rugged real good there.
yeah, we rug pulled him. I didn't know about it. I honestly, I was given some bad advice. Yeah, stupid. What else? What a girl.
I'm still tripping on Cheryl's subdivision.
Anybody taking
Anyhow,
any Warriors Rockets last night?
Yeah.
Saw a little bit of it.
I guess what's your take on that series or on the Rockets team? But we can talk about the remaining teams at some point in time. But for the teams that got bounced, any strong thoughts that we want to talk about for round one of the NBA?
Shout out Detroit. I was rocking with you because you're rocking with us. I tuned in for that series. Jalen Brunson, former Maverick great. Love seeing him thrive. Don't like the Knicks. Don't like Cat. Still can't believe a team with Cat on it can win a title. I will happily eat those words one day, maybe. But there's just something about him that's so unserious that I just can't. I don't believe it. I won't believe it till I see it. That's unfair and very dumb. But
I hate Tibbs. I don't know why, but I can't stand his look or his face.
because he's the most stressed out looking person you've ever fucking seen.
I
yeah.
loved seeing him in Chicago. Hate seeing him everywhere else he's ever been.
As far as like if you have a Warriors Game 7 is much watched TV. Even this iteration of the Warriors, especially, you know what? Actually, I shouldn't even say even. Like they have Jimmy Butler now. If you have Steph and you have a closeout game or an elimination game, like you have to watch because you know he's gonna have some fuckery. And he's gonna hit some shots that are just it's so fun. Like until it's your team, which it was the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago. But it's so fun when it's not your team and you watch him just demoralize a fan base on the road.
I saw he got up to a slow start. Did he finish strong?
I don't.
Steph fashion.
I think
3 points in the first half, 19 in the second.
Yeah, pedestrian in the box score, but like facilitated, got to the basket in the second half, and like hit a couple of those threes where you're like, if you're in the crowd, because this game was in Houston,
demoralizing.
You're like, okay,
deflating.
We can leave.
Yeah.
And he's done it so many times to the Rockets in that arena that it's just like, dude, they gotta hate that guy. I wonder if they're beyond the hatred and just more into like okay, tip your cap. I know they hate Draymond, which I get.
What, the Rockets?
Rockets
Fan
fans,
base?
like, yeah, they gotta hate the Warriors, but like Steph, at some point, like it goes from hate to like, yeah, cool.
Just witness greatness.
We're part of the story.
Speaking only for my diehard Rockets fan friend, shout out to TV George. The hatred does not end. It's gone to like a level of irrationality to where like, I don't know if that's a word, whatever, to where any like tinfoil controversy you might hear about Steph and his wife, whatever, like any of those conspiracy theories come up, Steph and his hatred for like multifamily dwelling homes, wins a game and that comes up. Like the hatred is still very real.
I love that
for Rockets fans.
Okay, I know that move. It's kind of like when Iowa State beats Baylor, and I'm like, oh yeah, Matt Campbell, huh? Like, dude, just get over it. Just get over it.
Did they bet on this game too? Well, I keep saying I'm going to do the Iowa and Iowa State gambling scandal. I said this last offseason.
Oh, dude.
I wrote it in the notes. And it's only getting worse. But again, another day.
Iowa State, preseason top 25, I assume. They've got a little.
Mhm.
They got a lot going on, huh?
More smoke, but hey, Matt Campbell's still cooking.
Interesting. Michigan too. Do you see their AD?
Rockets base.
AD. I'm sorry. I know we're bouncing over. Their AD
No, it's okay.
resigned.
Who's
Wait,
AD
who?
resigned?
Michigan. Who resigned from Michigan? Was it their AD or was it
No,
their
school president.
school president resigned?
Yeah,
and this
but
is
he's
after
going
he
to
just
Florida.
going to Florida, but it's just the timing's a little bit okay.
Well, you saw the Sharon Moore news.
Well, yeah, 2 games, right? Like self-imposed.
Yeah, self-imposed because of the sign stealing debacle.
Okay.
Advanced scouting, I think, is the headline I saw today, and I was like, "What the fuck?" That's the worst title when you've got a sign stealing scandal, and B, they had another coach on the roster who's like being rung up for charges of stalking other like University of Michigan student athletes, like taking their personal info and social media and stalking chicks around campus. And then you title this advanced scouting. I'm like, that's
Advanced scouting.
it's beautiful. Beautiful. Last things on the Rockets. Fuck Dylan Brooks. Like that ruled me completely against them
Yeah.
immediately.
Agree.
He
Fred
might be
Van
my
Vliet.
least favorite person, period.
I love Fred Van Vliet because he's just kind of quiet, understated, and like just a very solid point guard. And then you just just Dylan Brooks.
The end of the game.
Oh, what happened at the end of the game?
Warriors were up 10-ish. Both teams had their starters in. But it was clearly out of like one of those where if the Rockets had back-to-back threes, it would have been competitive. So it wasn't like just hang it up. Everybody's leaving the stands quite yet.
Okay.
People knew. Crowd was leaving. But the Warriors weren't dribbling it out. They were putting up fucking threes. And the Rockets were not thrilled about it. And even when it was like, hey, we're just dribbling down, and then shot clock's running out and we're putting up a three, Fred Van Vliet very clearly hand check to Jimmy Butler. Like it was getting chippy, but afterwards nobody was like, hey, fuck you. You still got the hugs and everything. Again, I'm okay with Fred Van Vliet. Of the people on their roster, I'm okay with them. Ime's voicemails, Dylan Brooks, and their big dude who's really, really good, but I hated everything about watching him play. Sengun, I don't know how. That dude, never heard of him until this series. And it might just be because the Warriors don't have a good big.
Good player.
But he was good.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. He's better than I thought he would be. I would just be after every series, I'd be the guy walking around the court, just going up to the other team like, "Where's my hug? Where's my hug?" Oh, yeah, the Rockets are fun, but like they got nothing out of Jalen Green. It was very odd, and they've got a big offseason because they've got the capital to go make a big move and potentially bring in like a KD or something. But I don't know.
That does not fix that problem.
No, I agree. Anybody want to eulogize Pop? Old Pop going back to
Yeah.
front office.
Yeah. He's my GOAT head coach. Oversaw a dynasty with San Antonio and also just one of my favorite all-around human beings. I think he's a great, great guy. And the health concerns, he had to do it. Sad to see him go, man, but I'm glad he's not completely stepping away from the game. So we still get some Pop action, but big fan, great career. That's all I got.
I thought it was interesting that it seemed like outlets had already prepared, understandably so, like their Pop retiring or worse packages. Because like immediately after the announcement, you start seeing like clips of Pop intentionally fouling Shaq 20 years ago. And like funny moments from Pop's career, but by no means would I say like they symbolize like the height of like his everything that he's meant to the game. He's had funnier moments. He's had cooler, like I think the counting of rings in the parade is like one of the more iconic moments of Pop. He's like, oh wait, and continues to count fingers or whatever. But it just seemed like immediately you're seeing a lot of clips that people I think had packaged for Pop retirement announcement or stroke turned worse situation. So I think they're having to square it with, wait, how much are we going to see him in the media? Is he going to do a book tour with a 24-year-old in 2 years? I don't think so, but who knows?
Oh, no. We're not answering that. Man, you didn't get to talk about that, KJ.
Yeah.
No. I missed it, but I think the right people handled the conversation. As I've had a track history with, a few different types of partners, of women over the years of my dating career. But I cannot say that I have any experience with that, smoke show absolute craziness that you saw there. The control freakness that wouldn't have matched.
They released a statement after that interview clarifying why she spoke up the way she did about the "where'd you guys meet" question. She said the agreement they had with the interviewer was that they were going to strictly talk his book, talk football, and when he strayed off of those topics, talking about their dating, that's why she spoke up to get it back. She's like his manager, I guess. And she was there to like keep them on task, I guess. So she's like, no, not talking about that. Get back to it. But she didn't. It came off totally differently, obviously.
As she's like scrolling her phone, foot on the desk, and just like cold. And I'm like, hey.
It's a weird business
Absolutely.
/ personal relationship they have.
You
But
think
love
she's
is
ever
love,
wanted
dude.
to return an item and been too timid to return something to a store before?
She doesn't seem like she'd have any problem sending back a meal.
No.
No.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. God, I like it for it. I'm surprised we haven't heard from anybody like, hey, because she's 24, right? So odds are most of her friends are very online because most 24-year-olds are very online. There hasn't been like a, hey, we talked to one of her friends from college or whatever. I mean, like, turns out, like, there's nothing out there yet unless I've just missed it. Not that it really matters to I'm not going to go seek that content out.
She's
but,
too young to have a sketchy track record. She's
But-
24.
But but we talked about this last week. The rumor, like what
Oh, yeah.
the people
I
like
have
trying
something
to
to say on
smear her, like, oh, she's clearly an escort.
Yeah.
Like, if that was the case, I feel like we would know by now. Like, that's not.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That would have been dug up for sure.
I feel like we would know. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of people that are like mad at her, and I get like it is weird, and like it is weird. I think if I was a UNC fan, I would probably be mad for all the reasons we talked about last week. Why is this person involved in my sports
Yeah.
program?
Why is
right?
she on the field during spring practice?
Yeah, that to me is odd. But yeah, we'll hear more about this, and it's going to be a really interesting football season for them, on so many levels.
Yeah.
Is she going to be on the sideline?
Dude, yeah.
Holy shit!
I think so.
Oh
She's
my
going to be
God.
the person I keep accusing of being Sark's wife, like overly involved behind the camera,
Yes.
only to find out like at the end of the year it wasn't her all along.
No, that poor woman keeps catching smoke from you, but she does know how to find the camera. You're right about
She's-
that part.
Dude, every group text goes crazy. Mike that I'm in goes crazy when that woman. I have to explain. I'm like, dude, that's not her. Don't get me wrong. She's very hot, but
Yeah.
it's not her.
Yeah, my thought on a potential meeting wouldn't line up because obviously his kids are adults, but I felt like there was some sort of not personal assistant, but like don't want to talk about it because it would have been like across the bounds of whatever relationship they had type situation. Obviously, it's not a babysitter. Could have been former relation to other staff member, babysitter. You know what I mean? Like there's probably some close circle infringement that occurred that it's just not pretty. Unless, like you said, it was maybe we met a little too soon.
When are we gonna find out when are we gonna find out the Ime Udoka stuff from Boston?
The same day we find out the Dez tape.
Because that I meant to bring that up. That is one that blows my mind because people like that knew about it were like, guys, Matt Barnes, guys, I actually did just hear about what happened and it's really, really bad. But I'm not going to tell you about it. So it's like, okay. And then he's coaching like a year later. I'm like, fine, cool. Like he's a great coach, clearly. I'm just very curious. Like, was it that bad? Because he's
Speaking about old clips with Pop, like I saw him in a clip with Pop when they were like taking a hand vote if Patty Mills was going to play. And I'm like, oh, there's Ime Udoka. Like,
yeah.
didn't realize that was where he came from.
Sorry. I'm looking forward to Warriors T-Wolves will be great. Nugs Thunder. Pacers Cavs.
I want it to be
Pacers,
I want it to be a Western Finals. I don't know why I want that because Anthony Edwards is going to be fun to watch anyway. But I feel bad watching the Nuggets because I respect a lot of their players. I don't respect that they have like an interim coach. But I don't want to see them more than any of the other three teams. I would take any of the other three.
this is, look, there's these are interesting because like I think people have been clearly like it's easy to say now after the Pacers win game one and look great, but like they've been underrated and they have a great coach. Like Rick Carlisle is a great coach. So that's a series that could definitely go 7, and I expect it to. Knicks Celtics, like I still don't think that the Knicks they can play with the Celtics, but you never know. That could be really fun. I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch all this shit, And I don't know. I was very sad to see my guy Luca and the Lakers go out real sad, and see Luca be like the butt end of the jokes again. And I'm like, oh man, like don't try. There's a lot of people trying to say, look, oh maybe Nico Harrison was on something. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. You're dumb. You're very dumb if you think that. You're not a good analyst if you think that. Even if, a couple of things can be true. Luka can be a bad defender, and also like the Mavs could have built a great roster around him to like cover that fact up because they were like a top 5 defensive team when they went to the finals last year. And he had a perfect. Yeah, maybe he does need like help on the roster. What player doesn't? How many players can you say like don't have to have a roster built around them, like especially to make up for some shortcoming? But the Lakers, that was not their roster. They have a lot of work to do. I don't know if they can do it, dude. That whole thing is weird because LeBron's obviously 40, and they don't have a center. And Austin Reeves
Can I
is
throw
not
my
that guy.
wild take out there?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's going to happen at this point. I'm just realizing I mentioned in the group chat and I didn't say anything on the show yet. I don't think it's going to happen unless some drastic issue comes up. But put me on board for a Spoelstra coaching the Lakers. If LeBron hangs around, I don't know why. Like I have a decent level of respect for JJ Redick, probably the same level I had for like Jason Kidd, where I was like a little apprehensive, and then you saw the numbers and the defense production and the success, and you're like, oh wait, there is a reason he's like taking teams far. I'm just very uncomfortable with how Redick, who's been in the media, isn't just like short and abrupt with the media, but like borderline uncomfortably rude and like taking things personally when they're just like prying questions, maybe not good questions, but like he comes off as butthurt in the conversations.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Making a lot of first-year coach mistakes, and he does kind of come off as you can't disassociate him from Duke. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're watching him do that, and you're like, oh yeah, and he's a white guy from Duke. You just have like there's a certain. You kind of almost like Christian Leitner, like, oh, I fucking hate this guy for some reason. I don't know. But no, there's something to it. I will. KJ is the ground floor of Spoelstra to LA. I can co-sign that. I saw the text.
Might be an 11-team parlay that I'm throwing out there, but
do it.
I'd sign up for it. I feel like Miami's run its course, and I feel like he's arguably a top 5 coach still.
Agree. All right, let's talk a little college baseball.
Time for the college baseball minute. My Texas Longhorns took their 5-game SEC lead and number 1 ranking to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it did not go well. They got swept.
They got whoop-pigged.
They got swept. The games weren't particularly close either. It was ugly. Pitching was atrocious. They couldn't find strike zone, hit batters, a million walks. And Arkansas in their little league ballpark just teed off on Texas.
Wow.
It's a little league ballpark. Anyway, they were the better team. There was one play on, I think it was a Friday game. Texas had a guy in first and second with 1 out, and there's a pop fly to, I think, second base, and the runners forgot, or they thought there were 2 outs and just took off running. It was like a little league play. And, of course, they got doubled off, inning over, and both those base runners got benched mid-game because of it. It was just ugly, man. It was just a humbling series in Fayetteville. But Texas remains number one, even after the atrocious outing they had. They got to find some bats, man. Hitting's not looking great. Arkansas pitching staff kept him in check. And I mean, it's maybe one of these, like, all right, let's light a little fire under our asses, one of those series.
Kind of, you're kind of glad it happened. Oh, in a way. They were eating the cheese, as Bill Parcells once
so
said.
now
They're
it's time to get
headlines.
back to, like, all right, guys, no one's gonna hand us shit. We gotta, it was humbling.
Randy, some might say they were smelling their own tits.
Mhm.
Exactly. You don't smell your own tits
Nope.
when you got that number one ranking.
Unless you're old smelly tits. It's out
Old
there in-
smelly tits.
Out there in
yeah.
Alcatraz. Smelled the police commissioner's wife's tits. Locked them up.
This segment originally started out just me dunking on A&M. I don't even know how they did. I didn't even pay
Well,
attention.
now
to
you
that.
got it covered all the way
I don't
to
even
the
know how
end.
they did.
We're sending you to Omaha.
Let me see how A&M did, just to be fair here and round this little segment out. Give me a sec.
Scotty Scheffler.
Wait, we already talked about the time when Arkansas beat the brakes off Texas. Is that what we just did? I was reading NIL stories.
A&M took 2 of 3 from LSU
Ooh.
in College Station, so they won. They beat them in that series.
Tiger bait.
Good for you. They won 6-4, 3-1, and lost 1-2.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then I did just throw out a Scotty Scheffler.
A lot of people talking about how easy the course was.
It's not, dude. Craig Ranch.
Where is it?
Is that McKinney? I think it's in McKinney.
Is it just super fucking
As far
easy?
from South Dallas as they could get.
They honestly they got the hell out of. They are not in the South Dallas business anymore. Sadly, it's not. Look, Trinity Forest is not a good tournament course. It is a cool ass course, but it is. There's no shade. There's no shade at Trinity Forest. We're talking about the Byron Nelson, and then now they have it at TPC Craig Ranch, which like golf heads will tell you it stinks. I mean, I think it would be fun if you went and played it. You'd probably have a good time. But like as far as like a course. To have like a tournament like Byron Nelson, that used to be like a cool stop on tour that was fun. It was at Las Colinas. It's not going to work. And Lanny Watkins, they're doing like a redesign. It's tough scene because that was a really fun time in life going to the Nelson. But yeah, Scotty went off. Scotty won by 8. It was never close. He boat raced the field, and it's his first win of the year. And you got Quill
Who got
Hollow.
second?
Huh?
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. I thought you were. Go ahead.
Scotty did not get second.
No,
KJ.
I was saying who got second.
Eric Van
I
Rooyen.
wanted to see comments from this gentleman who I was not familiar with prior to today.
Did wait, talking about like the signature event model stuff? I saw a little bit
He
of
went on everything, it seemed like. What event did he win? I'm sorry to come here with like half of the story, but he won an event last week or very recently that qualified him for a signature event. Is that correct?
I don't know where he won, but there's something.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He won somewhere that qualified him for maybe the PGA Championship or something of the sort. And then came up second, tied Scheffler's 63 yesterday. I feel like I'm tracking okay here on these two things. But when asked about the signature event that he was now qualified for, which as a reminder was kind of a reaction to Live Golf, that PGA's put together some signature events with a smaller field, no cut, $20 million guaranteed. He basically was like, I know, I understand why we're doing some of these things, but we've got a lot of guys who believe we should be paid similar to NFL players or similar to Premier League teams. He's like, I'm sorry, John Rahm, you're a hell of a golfer, but there's no reason you should be making more than Cristiano Ronaldo. We've got a couple people, Scotties, the Rorys of the world, who are very exciting to watch, but we're golfers, not, this. We have a very deep and competitive PGA Tour. So just kind of went on flame on record and threw names out there and wasn't insulting anybody directly, but basically was like a lot of this arguing for more money, like the majority of y'all / us are not worth it, which is an interesting thing to hear. I would equate it to like, I don't know, Garrett Nussmeier coming out in the media and being like, these NIL deals are overinflated. Carson Beck shouldn't be getting $4 million at Miami.
Okay.
Like something along those lines, like just going flames for no reason in a way that's also kind of hurting his own ability to earn. I don't know. I thought it was interesting for somebody I'd never heard of, was willing to be on record about that many things very openly.
You haven't heard of him because he hasn't won on tour since 2023. He's got 2 wins, the Barracuda and the Worldwide Tech Championship.
Oh, shit. Now that you say it.
Yeah. Does that ring a bell? No, yeah. And was critical of like the signature model where it's like with the guys who want to like trim the fields and
Yep.
have less out there. And yeah, but I did see some of that. It sucks to lose by 8 when you shoot like 23 under in a golf tournament.
He has a very caricature-esque face.
South African. Yeah, he does. He's got a
Yes.
very cartoon mustache.
He
Very,
does.
very much like a Randy. He's got a Randy look to him. He's got a thicker Fu Manchu.
He's
Just
got
kinda watch it a
Pixar
little
face.
more
Is that what
bushy.
you're trying to say?
What's this guy's name?
Eric Van Rooyen. Eric with the K.
I'll look him up.
He
Look
was
him up,
not
huh?
married to Sia.
Anyway. Okay. Well, that was a little golf talk. And now we can get on unless you guys got anything else to hit.
$40 million roster, question mark. Any of you guys follow a team that rumors have it that they're spending 40 to 50 mil after Ohio State was taking a lot of headlines for having a $20
You
million
are
roster?
inflating the report. It said 35 to 40. And that is
You're right.
after
It does say 35-40.
that is after the house settlement money is also allocated, I believe. So I think it is north of 35. We're talking about Texas football, by the way.
It's actually not north of 35. is it?
It's not Texas State.
It is north of 35 million, I believe, but it's also like I think other teams are going to be spending the exact same amount, considering the 20 million that's being inserted into the I don't even know what you call it, the
Revenue share.
rev share, the rev share model that's rolling out right now. So
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was interesting for them to, just like the Ohio State headline was dumb and silly. It's kind of clickbaity and not fair. Like, if you're not going to divulge this, if it's not open for everybody, why are you taking shots? Like, are you saying this is a good thing, a bad thing? Like,
yeah,
you're just
I don't-
reporting a lot just to report a lot about one team, and it's
Yeah.
weird.
I don't mind that number being out there. I mean, if I'm a recruit, I'm like, oh, Texas is willing to spend, huh? Let's go see what's up in Austin. Yeah.
I would also tell them, like, SMU did hit their school-wide funding campaign of $150 million. Like, I don't know, a week and a half earlier than anticipated. It was like one of the biggest private university funding things. So, like, if they hear this message, I want them to hear both. That's school-wide. That's not NIL, obviously. It's going to build a fucking library.
Texas State, we've got a river.
I believe Arch is not taking a dollar from the NIL collective. It's all just like the true NIL. Apparently, yours was the same way. He didn't take any money like from the collective. It was all just endorsements that he earned on his own.
Did you see the Quinn's agent quote
I missed it.
saying that he calling a lot of the teams that did not draft him chicken shit because the reason he didn't get drafted by a lot of teams was because he's too big of a name to hold a clipboard.
Why is that a reason not to?
Because he's such a big name that if he's gonna,
He wouldn't want to.
I guess
He wouldn't want
it's
to
a
be second,
weird-
third string.
Yeah,
Unless the guy's saying it also about, like, Shedeur. You know what I mean? Like, in the context of people like Quinn and Shedeur, you don't want to have them as holding a clipboard, because that seems to sound very weird, saying it just about Quinn when, like, yeah, he's a big name, but not bigger than the others that
Mhm.
were drafted.
He said they thought he was a 3rd or 4th round pick, but too big of a name to be a clipboard holder, which I think is chicken shit. It's definitely a lot of motivation that comes with it, especially just being the last quarterback drafted. I still have high expectations for myself, but okay.
I think he's in a good spot in Miami. I mean, I didn't want to see the guy go 7th round, but I think he landed in a good spot.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where would you
Okay.
rather be in that quarterback room or Cleveland?
Cleveland's got to cut half their. What are they?
I mean, what
are
are
they
you
doing?
You're gonna just like you got 3 quarterbacks. You just give them a third of the season, then you hopefully they all play pretty well. Then you go flip them for draft capital.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I know that's not gonna happen, but like I don't know.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, Flacco.
Like Dylan Dylan Gabriel, you go move him. Like
I
he
don't know.
plays like 5 snaps, and you're like, no, this kid can play. Look at his college tape.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go get a
It's just bad
Day
like,
2 pick.
organizational decision making across the board.
Ugh.
Real quick on Quinn's agent. Wonderful last name, labor friendly for sure.
What is it?
University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I don't know. We'll let the people discover on their own. Maybe we'll throw it up in a caption.
I was going to say
Um,
Slovene.
I'm glad you've seen
I
it.
almost read it out loud, but I didn't know how to say it. And I didn't want to say that. I was like, this is uncomfortable.
University of Wisconsin Whitewater ties. Shouts to that big D3 program. But it looks like his business is based in Southlake. So I wonder if it was like a personal relationship that like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
like Southlake's a tiny
possibly.
town. There are probably plenty of agents, but I do wonder. We did hear the story that somebody was in the building in Southlake when decisions were being made mid-year last year around Quinn and whether or not he'd go pro. That's likely the office that it was tied to now that I'm thinking back. So interesting.
Okay.
Shouts to Ron Slavin.
Shall we run it back?
Yeah, let's run it back.
Which is sponsored by Roback this week.
Oh, our good friends at Rollback.
Washed 20 get you 20% off at Roback. It's polo season, swim trunk season, grit gym shorts, loopers.
Grit, man. I was rocking mine yesterday all day.
We love Roback. Washed 20 get you 20% off. And of course, Run It Back is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Micah introduced Micah is Burning. Micah loves celebrating a victory over the French. Be funnier, Jax. Regina is a big oil town. Belichick's girlfriend wouldn't have any problem sending back a meal. And finally, put a girl on.
Put girl on.
And that concludes Run It Back.
so funny to me.
Put girl on. Man, people who aren't familiar with that, that may be one of the dumber things. People are like, that's what?
It's dumb.
It is very dumb. You just got to see it. And we may be overstating it. Whatever.
We celebrated Cole Campbell for a good 30 months of this podcast, which is almost 5 years old, by the way. So Cole got us through like 40% of our existence. I think put a girl on and get us through an off season. Just who knows?
Fair. May end up on the board pretty soon. All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.